the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
The Justice Pwamang Committee is still ongoing. More investigations into the suspension and possible removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Now, according to lawyer Paul Adom Otre, or say some Supreme Court judges and previous Chief Justices, one what I say as temporary Chief Justices, omuna akopiemu with that committee, and omoma the constitutional implication of the Justice Pwamang Committee decision omobeteki either against the Chief Justice and also for the Chief Justice. Now, ansana or go into the details, or kind Catholic bishops omo letter a cautionary letter to President Mahama on two things. One, electoral violence at Ablekuma North. Catholic bishops for eniahu omo kache President John Dramani Mahama say, sa reputation a Ghana ye enjoy say a beacon of democracy in sub-Saharan Africa no erode as a result of this electoral violence. And a second issue here, the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo inti omu enhwediye. Yenkotie lawyer Paul Adom Otre updates on the Justice Pwamang Committee sitting on Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo the case no.
To the president about what they think is some of the ongoings in the country that they don't like. For instance, the violence at Ablekuma and also the Chief Justice problem. Now, the Catholic Bishops' Conference also set up a press release that was used by media on Tuesday. The National Catholic Secretariat, Office of the President of the Catholic Secretariat, and is entitled Statement by Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference on Electoral Violence and Suspension of the Chief Justice. It reads as follows. We, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, have followed recent developments in our beloved nation with profound concern. As spiritual leaders and responsible citizens, mindful of our collective duty to uphold justice, peace, and integrity of democratic governance, we feel compelled to share these reflections with the people of Ghana. True democracy transcends the periodic casting of votes. It embodies a just social order that respects the rule of law, upholds the intrinsic dignity of every human person, and guarantees citizens the right to participate meaningfully in shaping our national destiny. At the heart of this vision lies the sanctity of the ballot and the imperative of peaceful election. Since the promulgation of our 1992 Constitution, Ghana has rightly been celebrated for its democratic stability. Yet, this hard-earned reputation is gravely endangered whenever electoral violence surfaces, as was tragically witnessed recently in Ablekuma North constituency. We unequivocally condemn all forms of electoral violence, especially the brutalization of citizens, including journalists. Such acts constitute a gross violation of human dignity and betray the very foundations upon which our democracy stands. We therefore urge the states to initiate prompt, thorough, and transparent investigations into these incidents and ensure perpetrators are held fully accountable. Impunity corrodes public trust and fosters a culture of lawlessness. We further call upon the government to implement without delay the recommendations of previous commissions of inquiry into electoral violence, ensuring lessons learned translate into meaningful institutional reforms. We remind all political actors that elections are not a contest of might, but a platform for the exchange of ideas. We urge political parties and their supporters to exercise maximum restraint and prioritize national peace above partisan advantage, even amidst intense political competition. The Electoral Commission must sustain and deepen its stakeholder engagement efforts to bolster public confidence in electoral processes' integrity. Similarly, we urge the security services to act with professionalism, impartiality, and foresight in preventing and managing potential conflict. A healthy, functioning democracy equally demands an independent, credible judiciary, free from political interference. Justice is the indispensable cornerstone of national cohesion. Without it, grievances fester and violence finds fertile grounds. It is in this critical regard that we view the current tensions arising from the suspension of the Chief Justice. While acknowledging the necessity of due process, we caution strenuously against any action, perceived or actual, that could compromise the independence or impartiality of the judiciary. The removal of a sitting Chief Justice is a matter of profound national significance. This process must be scrupulously guided by constitutional principles, absolute procedural fairness, and a clear respect for the doctrine of separation of powers. Any precedent that appears to place the judiciary at the mercy of executive risk irreparably eroding public trust in the very institutions citizens rely upon for justice. In the light of these grave concerns, we urge all stakeholders to act with the utmost conscientiousness, safeguard both the inviolable rule of law and the dignity of the judiciary. The recent National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving convened by His Excellency the President provided a welcome moment for spiritual and civic reflection. May this now inspire a deeper, sustained national commitment to unity, reconciliation, and lasting peace. Let us, as one people, fervently renew our shared covenant to build a just, peaceful, and prosperous Ghana, a nation where every citizen finds refuge in the law and hope in our common future. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong, and is signed by the Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Nsem-Pii, Bishop of Sunyani and President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. Very, very poignant, very telling. The Catholic Bishops' Conference is unhappy with the processes at the Chief Justice. Now, what are we picking up from the Chief Justice situation? We understand that the process is ongoing at the Justice Gabriel Pwamang Committee, the learned Chief Justice, Justice Tokonu, and the learned Acting Chief Justice, Justice Bafo-Boni, here on our screen. So we understand that the matters are going on. We are checking with our lawyers the extent to which we can publish the things that are going on in there, given the in-camera situation. They are researching, they'll tell us what we can do, because we have quite a lot to say. Apparently, important people have been appearing as witnesses for Justice Tokonu. Constitutional experts have appeared before the committee as witness for Justice Tokonu. They have laid down the process of the Constitution. They've laid down the philosophy that's underpinned Article 146. They've laid all of that down to the committee. We also understand that important former Supreme Court judges have all appeared at the committee for Justice Tokonu. They've come to indicate that how do they say these days? The things that are being discussed as against Justice Tokonu in terms of conduct. There are other former Supreme Court justices who have appeared there, people who have had occasion to act as Chief Justice on occasion or the other. They've all come there and they are talking. We hope, as the Catholic Bishops' Conference is also hoping, that this will end up very, very well, and it will be good. It will be good for us, so that the judiciary will be able to stand very, very firm. In the light of all that, we picked up something Okoboy said. I watched Dr. Zato on the finance ministers, on the Attorney General's issue. I'll come to that in a minute. But this is what Okoboy was talking about, and we liked it. In a studio in Nsem-Pii with Obi, we're always watching Obi's program, about the suspension of the Chief Justice. Now, Okoboy is not a lawyer, so it's very interesting listening to people who are not lawyers, who are bringing the commonsensical and the social angle to this matter. This is what he said.
You see, the two Obi no one kebia ochna one shana be count. Now, mami way Chief Justice. One of the things I Emma and this will be brave and penasem and it's a court 2020 no. I'm say 12-0 and I 7-0 scholar. 7-0. Obi.
A scholar on football.
Utie sebi. I see doing ketia kra or babe 2 for example for no. Or no so mo ko no mo kita hwe. Obi. It's sad when Obi, instead of Obi reflecting and fixing the issues, Obi Daniel ko to Obi su. Say no mo dey no. Me my psychologist me tell you. It was a way of energizing the NDC base. Say Sebi ya luzu court na am boye, so that the base will still be energetic towards 2024. But by doing so, no, we could create situation ama ya 7-0. Pwamang say no, what's antagonizing the courts? Na only 7-0 no. So mumpe unti de bia na yesa. But God is watching. If anybody tells you God plays no role in politics, it's a lie. This woman, Obi, this woman, if she goes on her knees and prays, na Obi, Sebi, ena oyeno, Obi na tatano. I've cited the example of the 7-0. Look at some of the issues I raise here. So, or trust suggesting my president say, or recommend you Obi.
Yes.
Now, me recommend you me shall come. You see, when you look at some of the Nyama who cited or cancel lowering the threshold, ultimately say, well, Obi, why yet now dream that? If you might imagine that I say, we'll deal with this person. Now, I feel the next step is how do we get what we need to do with the person? But like I'm saying, Tony Blair says something very powerful for leaders, and I'll say it. I say, when you become a leader, especially when the mandate you got is overwhelming, never be mistaken to assume that it is so much love. Most of the time, it is expectation. And that you will make enemies along the way unknowingly. Don't spend time making more enemies deliberately. Mami way, unknowingly in the bushia, I saw your film with fear of feeling. Are there hearts that you are bringing aboard or you are losing? Obi, it's messy. All I'm saying is that
I will tell you the Charlotte Osei story.
I
also had a family.
Yes.
But you see, that is why Omomuka Asemeneno, me show more now. What was their position and orientation that time?
On Charlotte Osei.
Yes. You see,
orientation.
Osei, you criticize the true Charlotte Osei.
You see,
why are you supporting?
Yes.
But
I am saying.
Obi, you see, Obi, and you see, they say little drops of water make a mighty ocean.
Yes.
It is possible that Charlotte's friends, family members, and people who were not happy. That's why I quoted Tony Blair's statement. If you can avoid, Adiamuka Wasem say. In fact, Charlotte today has been giving some board.
Yeah. Ghana Gas board.
What does it tell you? If someone is not sympathetic or does not believe in the ideals of the NDC, would they be made the board chair of Ghana Gas? Board member. So what it tells you is that no, or your mood dear,
How?
Oh. Obi, me moderate. Me in council NDC member. Me in council the ideals, the ideology. Exactly. You did know. Musu okroma nyina say de Akufo-Addo ye ebia no kan na ebia ne okobo amitina ebia mitina as opposition member na no de obi ye down the line eni abetina no usu ufa sa kwan no so a sebi ebetimi di wa ba ebia ye wo no edu Charlotte so no na wo ye dede obi ye dede ne o say ye kom but question you have to ask yourself the oye na no ohwa eboa no ana amboa no. So Obi, media, me can say the man who has the chance to make history today in this country is Justice Pwamang. And that's an Ivan.
Justice Pwamang.
Obi, people have made history for the right reasons. Obi, others have made history for the wrong reasons. My prayer for him, I've said it here, I'll repeat it, that his fidelity will lie to the content of the discussions and the cases that will come there, and not to predetermined links. My prayer for him. Why? And I mentioned it here. Because those who gave him the task already have a wish. Makada, and yeah, idea Kukum. President Oka publicly, not Kukum, say, they have to reset that whole place, starting with the woman. But my prayer with him is that, say, Okomuna content, Obi, content, or share case now the outcome is that the woman should go. Sebi, her blood will not be on her hands.
Which blood?
But what I say, a figurative expression. I don't want your blood on my hands. It is best that they were two, no, Missuna fire. But what I say, and yes, a bekuna baby. So the point I'm making is that, Obi, that man has the opportunity to make history. And unfortunately for him, he can't choose the other option. He will definitely make one which is on the right side of history, or the other way. And I'm happy you're a lawyer. students will come 20, 30, 100 years down the line. They will look at the Pwamang report and they will use it to teach students how his fidelity to the law stood, whether it advanced the cause of the law and justice or it betrayed the law and justice. And I keep on saying, I pray for him because it is not easy when the one who gives you a task. And yeah, easy. Say nipa all small say you juma man no. Who idea of the Oshushe? And yeah, easy. I pray for him.
We pay you, Master. I don't want any foolish idiot to text me later. Who the hell is Sam George? I say, who the hell is that fool? I'm ready for you any day. Foolish man. Ube who say a drobi o baby. Me say member we drag them. Me say ube wrong what na form. Me, I'm telling you that. If somebody thinks I'm sitting here because of Mahama, then you are stupidly stupid. I'm telling you. You can call your Mahama and ask him. And if John Mahama thinks I'm sitting here because of him, he is thinking stupidly. Oh, me shebia honte. Akonwa bia te se toilet. Oh, you hine se bedi anim na musuomra eso ase you se be kansam mampuntiomra abrabom. Edian hine na yedi ni sa no. Ah? Edian hine na yedi ni sa no. Wo na wo ma santemai say otufo. Wo na wo se santemai o tom. Obi o mon kan kire wo. Asantemai say e wo otufo na otufo te wo. Na yesi sebio wo na nanom o mo baaye no. Sa nkwase asem we komo so ankenda akonwa kase we enkeda ho. Most son semfun sododo. You broke on your name tia. Na yeso nyoma so. Otufo, you have limited power. You have limited power. Asante is nothing. See, 2 million Asante biem. 2 million ni menshia biem. Ni mumpaya we are seeing na Yeshua Masarai. Bebediza when the Corinthians onimdia wo nyina ontumi san bayare. Ankan Williams. Ono so ne ba no so aboda mo se den osoro na watichen. We ni kwate fia te se mire. Edidim kwasi asem on TikTok was Danka William wa bompa ye we ase nyina de brofo abo ontumi san ba yare na mo mogirigi nyara mensa otabo akwatena court a bank board so we sika tetram o de nam Ghana oso na o hye Igbo curtains rival obofo so hwan ne nine say Egyptian pen o de kwasi afọ budi echi wagigi music nyina koto phantom and o ka kire mo say osom no e ya azan afawa oba no fon chen me and why kase chen me I said if Somalia e kuro bi ade fe no enkinkensu ene ade no baaye and otowa hwe na fo no some Jimmy Arimi Yawe edidi chief imam office dechi ena oye corruption edwuma ho because on chief imam nyiri chief imam on TV chief imam on radio ena Arimi Yawe na bodwe se peg ena enkwase politics no the chief imam office ne.
Unfortunately, I'm not an immigration officer. and so I mean, how do you expect, I'm not an immigration officer.
I'm about for money. $1 bit about for money. Channel kono na se akosoro. And I sikano even $9 na was so kana marketing here because this time marketing here. Then it and sa na because difference be amamu.
No kreni. Ska semna na ye how kese. Ska na wo Bank of Ghana 10 point something. Ba be kwa bonte na 13 cedis. You see a safer eba from kakra ba 19 something. You see sa 22. Nti ama ye adwuma ne ye no aye de ama obi ba o se yati sika so yati ne ma so ba obekọ no so na nti sa.
Well, those are comments for the Minister of Finance to consider. Let's do the text messages, and then we have an interview with Justice Pwamang, who is going to give us an analysis of the NPP Congress, what happened there and what it means in public communication and political communication. Answer by you first. What are people saying?
He says, the one playing the Siprewa Tremanting song has also died about 5 years ago. Life is short. From Nana Owusu, he says, RIP to Prof. John Atta Mills. The NDC should thank both Kuku and Yudoho, who managed to save Asomdwe Park from its sorry state with support from Nanado. I saw them today lined up enjoying the beautiful view of the park. Some of the shameless people who demonized the anniversary celebration were wearing dark shades. From Chizak, he says Atta Mills would not have revoked people's appointments. John Mahama, why have you added this to your legacy? From Francis Wahin, he says, I'm so sorry for the loss of our ex-president. My thoughts are with his family. Aram Francis says, either the roads are to be completed or commissioned by the end of 2028 and not 2026. From Suli Yakubu, he says, no 5 northern regions were mentioned. And lastly, from Abdul Majid, he says, good evening, Ghana. Official university graduates placed under the pending for consideration category by the previous government. Please help us to draw the attention of the current government to release our appointment letters.